It took 72 games to get here.
All 72, almost.
All 72, but we are inside the zone, playoff style, with Blake Sebring talking about the K's first-round series as they take on the Cincinnati Cyclones in a best-of-7. What do you really think about this series? Just throwing it out there right off the top. What are your first thoughts when you think K's Cincinnati best-of-7 series?
I don't know. And I'll say that because I don't know who's on which team. Because the roster deadline was at 3 p.m. today, but the ECHL puts everybody out tomorrow. So you don't know who's on the playoff rosters, like does Cincinnati get Anthony Peters, their ace goaltender, back from the American Hockey League. If they can get him, that changes the whole dynamic of the series. Do the Komets get Zach LaRaza and Trevor Cheek back from Tucson? We don't know. Do they get Artie Tinulin back? Right now, we don't know. So those kind of things can change everything, too. How many players is Cincinnati going to get from Rochester? Right now, they have 2. Did they get 2 or 3 more on top of what they didn't have in the lineup yesterday, such as Vive and some of those guys? I mean, you know, it could be a playoffs and regular season in the ECHL have nothing to do with each other. And thank goodness, because you get to see better hockey in the playoffs. You know, so, I mean, but it really doesn't.
Well, when you take a look at last night's game, a 6-3 win by the Komets, you said regular season doesn't mean anything. Can you take anything away if you're Gary or the players or just even the fans? I mean, what can you take away from that Sunday game that can apply in this series, if anything? Maybe not.
Well, the Komets were fired up in the third period.
That's for sure.
I mean, but first and second period, they really weren't. I mean, that was awful hockey till then. But other than that, no, I don't think you can. I really don't. Because you have different guys playing in different combinations. You just want to get through that game with nobody getting hurt. And they pretty much did that.
When you take a look at the Komets and Cincinnati in the regular season, early on, they played 9 times. So it's not like they're unfamiliar with each other.
Right.
Komets struggled early. Played pretty well against them late. 4-3-2 is what you said their record against Cincinnati was.
2 key factors. One was the goaltender for Cincinnati, Anthony Peters. He was 3-0 against the Komets, 1.99 goals against average and like a .925 save percentage. So he was fantastic. And they were 1-goal games, and so he was the difference. Another factor was the first 4 games, which Cincinnati won. I think they outscored the Komets in the third period 8-4, or 7-4 maybe. In the last 5 games, where the Komets went 4-0-1 against Cincinnati, they outscored Cincinnati. I think it was like 13-2 or 3 in the third period. So there was a big difference there. Those were 2 really big keys there. There were a couple games, but only a couple, where Cincinnati had 2 or more power play goals. The rest of them, they didn't score at all. Another factor is Cincinnati's power or penalty kill is very, very bad. It's the worst in the league. So, you know, that's another thing to look for, too.
Well, you mentioned special teams. Komets, we've been talking about their penalty kill for a while. It's been better in the past couple of weeks. Last week, they hold opponents in their 3 games, 1 for 12 overall. Would you say the penalty kill, from what you've seen, has gotten better, or have they just been going up against teams that have bad power plays? Because I think
there's a third factor.
Oh, what's the third factor?
Third factor is Michael Hauser's been playing his rear end off.
Gary said as much.
He's been outstanding. And he's been out. He's been challenging shooters. He hasn't been waiting for them to make the move. He's forcing them to make moves that they're not comfortable with. He's played extremely well. It's like he took on if there's a goaltender competition, I'm ending it right here. You know, he's got to be the starter. He's going to be the starter. He earned it. I mean, he just took it over. I mean, I think he's 13-2-1, something like that, in his last 16 or 17 games. I mean, he's been amazing. And that's when his defense has not been that strong.
As far as this team goes, what are some of the things they're doing well as a team as we head into the postseason that you've seen over the last 2-3 weeks maybe?
Well, I think they've got their confidence back scoring-wise. There are more things I think they need to work on yet. They got to work on getting back defensively. I mean, Saturday night was like Gary said, it was dog bleep. And that was the perfect description of what that game was, because the first 4 goals that Garrett Bardis gave up was a breakaway. Granted, the refs screwed the play up. It was still a breakaway. Where were the other 4 guys on the ice? They gave up a pair of 2-on-1s where the defenseman came right back down the middle, didn't take a guy, so he really left Garrett out to dry. And where were the other 4 guys? And then it was a 5-on-3 goal. So that was the first 4 goals of the game against Bardis. And yet Bardis is the one who gets blamed for that game. And it's like, you guys got to watch the game sometimes, how bad these guys are defensively coming back. And it's been a problem all year. And you can't do that in the playoffs. You just can't do that because goals are going to be at a premium. And if you do that 3 times a game and they score 1 or 2 goals, it's over.
Gary really alluded to this a couple of weeks ago, how banged up this team was. And it's not necessarily major injuries. And you know it's hockey. They're hurt at the end of the season. But just how banged up this team is. Where are they at health-wise? Who are some of the guys we're going to see back? Obviously, Jamie Shasma is a big question mark because they not only need his talent and his versatility, but his leadership out there.
Yeah, and where does he fit into the lineup, too? Remember, was it 2 years ago, he was the 10th forward, and he excelled there. He was great there. Marco is just going to start skating tomorrow. So I doubt we see him this weekend. Ryan Culkin, the plan is he's coming back for Game 3 in Cincinnati. That gives him an extra week and a half to get ready. The other guys, you don't know about LaRaza and Cheek at this time, or Tignolan, but Artie hasn't skated in a month. So even if he comes back today, I don't see there's any way that he could be ready for Saturday night. I mean, that's just not fair. He's a rookie, too. You don't know how the kid's going to react to getting his first major injury, too. So you got to decide all this stuff into how you're going to put together your playoff roster.
For Gary, what are some of the things he's really going to be focusing on this week with this team?
Oh, penalty kill, turnovers. They just had a ton of turnovers this weekend. They played better Friday night and Sunday, but they still had a bunch of turnovers Sunday, and Saturday was ridiculously bad with the turnovers. They've got to start playing more conservative hockey in a way, and by that I mean they just got to be more careful with the puck. How many times this year have you and I talked about a guy at the blue line in the offensive zone trying to make a fancy play instead of the easy play, being breakaway? You know, I mean, it's just happened so often.
But do you see some of those guys maybe flipping it in the postseason, saying, okay, yeah, that's the regular season, but I know if I make an error here, it could cost us a game, it could cost us a series?
I don't know. I mean, you know, how many times over the years did we talk about you've got to be more disciplined with penalties in the postseason, and it never happened. You know, how many times have we said you've got to be better coming back defensively in the postseason, and it didn't always happen. Puck control is everything in the postseason because everybody's basically trying to attack and take advantage of the other team's defense. That's the game plan for both teams, is control the puck in the other zone and keep it in the zone so you're keeping the pressure off your own defense and your own goaltender. And I mean, we've talked about this for weeks.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. And Gary's talked about it for months, and it hasn't always happened. You hope it gets through.
Overall, what are you most looking forward to seeing in this series?
I'm really looking forward to seeing how Michael Hauser plays. I mean, he's been outstanding. He's been mystifying sometimes with how's he making those saves. And I'm really looking forward to seeing him play well. I have a feeling when Kyle for Cincinnati came up to him after the game and bumped him, I'm sure that that's really smart. Just make him that much more motivated. You know, I mean, that wasn't the brightest play in the world.
No. How much does that carry over? Because the last time these two were obviously on the ice together, a little bit of a fracas at the end of the game.
Sure, and I think, here's what I think on that too, because the Comets are the home team and they are the favorite, that's an advantage for Cincinnati. Does that make sense? Because they have nothing to lose. They can come in here, and if they blow a game because they got everybody chirping and shoving and whatever, and the Comets get off their game, and they lose, okay, we only got to win 1 here out of 4, you know? It's not like they're defending, you know, I mean, they're defending as a favorite or anything. So the Comets have got to be very, very careful with that, partly because you'll have 2 referees, and the other part is they're not going to put up with any crap. I mean, it wouldn't shock me if that stuff happens again in Game 1 Saturday night. All right, we're sending both of you, and then next play, we're sending both of you. You're playing in my series, not yours. And the referees will take control. That's what the league will want them to do, and they're going to set the tone for the series right away.
All right. All right. Anything else that we should be looking forward to about this series?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to see, I want to see what each team has on their roster, and we'll know a lot more from that. it's going to be fun because Cincinnati's got that one great line with Danforth and Schultz and O'Donnell. That's a great line, but they've got more depth now when they've got Vi. Well, Vi will be there instead of O'Donnell. O'Donnell will be on the second line with Magida Bagenda. And they're going to have a lot more depth than they usually have had in the season, okay? So don't look at it as, boy, if the Comets just stop this line, they're going to kill them. That is not the case. They are going to be an interesting team to see. And the other factor is, too, Cincinnati considers the Comets their arch rivals.
Really?
Yes. They look at it, they've had some really, and they're right. All the games are always good between the two. And they play Comets a lot more than they play Toledo, which you would, or in Indy's been awful.
Yeah.
So you would think, okay, that kind of makes sense. But the Comets don't necessarily, and I know their fans don't look at it that way. So that could be an interesting factor, too.
All right. Well, we'll have to see how it all plays out, especially games 1 and 2 this weekend in the Jungle. We'll be back here on Monday talking Comets hockey inside the zone with Blake Sebring.